don't follow fakes. Verse 22 says, "And he said to the disciples, 'The days are coming when you will desire to see one of the days of the Son of Man, and you will not see it. And they will say to you, look there, or look here. Do not go out or follow them.'" Jesus tells his disciples that he knows that there's going to be a time when he's not physically there with them, and that's going to create a longing in them for him. And he knows that there's going to be people sharing alternatives that, might give them that thing that they're after, but it won't satisfy them like he does. He knows that when they have a longing for Jesus, the enemy can come in and sneakily say, actually, why don't you follow this false Messiah? Or why don't you follow this false teaching? In our city, we are constantly promised things that can never deliver. This thing over here, this is going to bring you comfort. If you go after that, you're going to feel so good. If you buy this thing, it's going to make your life so much better. If you go after this relationship, or if you go after this fitness regime, then you're going to be happy. But none of these things can truly satisfy us because only Jesus can. And at the same time, we also experience within the Christian church false teaching. Teaching that goes against what the Bible teaches. Generally because they want people to feel included. They want people to want to come to Jesus. They want to make him more attractional. But that means that sometimes they actually teach things that are incorrect. So we must make sure that what we stand on is the firm foundation of the Bible, of Jesus' word and who he says he is. Timothy 4:3-4 says this, "For the time is coming when people will not endure sound teaching. They will turn away from listening to the truth." I don't know about you, but I see our city and our culture in that sentence. They will turn away from listening to the truth. I don't know how many times this week you've probably heard someone say, well, my truth, it's not the truth, it's my truth. And we are in this culture now where the truth is not one thing anymore. It could be multiple things. And one of the problems we have is that sometimes when we can't see Jesus, when we don't experience Jesus or feel Jesus in the way that we have in the past, or in the way that we see others experiencing him, then we can it can make us doubt that he's really there. It can make us doubt that he's going to provide in the way that he said he would. It's going to make us doubt that he loves us the way he says he would. And it can often lead us to going towards those things that say that they're going to give us immediate satisfaction, even if they aren't. Lamentations 3:24 says, "I say to myself, the Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for him." Regardless of what we are experiencing, we must stand firm and wait for Jesus, because Jesus is the only one that can satisfy. Sometimes it can be easy to give in and difficult to wait. There's a lot going on around us in our world that wants to steal our attention. And when God doesn't seem to be showing up in our time frame, it's easy to give in. In Pete Greig's book, How to Hear from God, he writes this: "God is rarely in a hurry to speak. Testimonies of his intervention are often unhelpfully condensed into a sort of highlight reel, leaving us to read quite carefully between the lines in order to notice the tedious months or even years of asking and waiting between the dramatic moments of epiphany." I think this is so true. Every time we hear someone share a testimony, they share, "I needed God and God came." And we have to try and work out, well, they said this and then this happened, but how long? How long was that waiting period? How many days, weeks, months, years even was that person waiting? And testimonies are amazing, right? Anyone love a good testimony? Testimonies are brilliant at stirring our faith and getting us to believe that God can do that again. When you hear someone say, "Hey, God provided for me," you can go, "Yeah, God can provide for me too." When you hear someone say, "God healed me," you say, "Yeah, well, I want God to heal me too." And testimonies are phenomenal. But I think what we actually need is people to share their testimonies while they're in the middle time. We need people to stand up here and say, "Hey, I'm not healed, but I trust God. God is good, and he stays the same yesterday, today, and forever. I'm still waiting on God for that provision, but God is good, and I trust him for it. I'm still waiting on God for that relationship that he promised me, but I'm trusting in God. We need to get better at sharing the stories whilst we're in the waiting, because it's those that sort of stir us up even more, help us to remain patient, help us to remain faithful to God. Jesus says, don't follow the false teachers, don't follow the false teaching. Remain faithful to me, even if you have to wait.